Feels like that introduction's gotten longer. Did you lengthen it?
I didn't. But do you know where that song comes from, by the way? The audio?
No,
You probably don't because you don't ask those kind of questions.
I don't.
Yeah, it's a repurposed song that we use internally for one of our other brands, but I slowed it down and just took a sample from it and
Ooh,
looped it.
if she played it backwards, it would have said like some message from outer space.
Possibly, but it sounds perfect for outer space, right?
It does. It does.
You know,
It does.
we have this whole alien outer space theme,
We
you
do.
know, and we never talked about aliens once or Area 51.
I'm going to wait until I release the truth about them.
I thought the truth was already out there.
Oh
X-Files taught
no.
us out.
Oh no. Wait. Just wait. Trump is going to release the files.
The files.
Yeah. The
Do
files.
you remember? Do you remember
You
when
know,
everybody stormed Area 51?
I do remember that. You know what's funny about that? That's been there forever, and the stories just keep going.
Well, yeah, because you keep people in the dark, so they start
Exactly.
investigating themselves.
Exactly. Like the weather balloon. It's a weather balloon
Yeah,
that we found in 1957 or whatever it was.
I don't know. Do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in life out there?
I don't know. I mean, what's to say there's not? I just don't know where, right?
Right? Yeah,
You know,
they're probably way out there, right?
how come they never land at like downtown Manhattan? It's always in some trailer park in Arkansas or something.
Because nobody wants to pay for parking. They're not dumb.
Is that what it is? Or they wouldn't care. Oh, there's some guys in the street, you know. Yeah, you always get that. Well, I was abducted by aliens. Where do you live, sir? I live in Alabama.
I mean,
You know,
who's to say you didn't?
I live in the middle of the desert somewhere. So
Mm.
they don't come down in Brooklyn.
Yeah, Brooklyn. See,
Brooklyn. Yeah, a little boy from Brooklyn.
yeah, he doesn't
Fast
want to get.
runner.
He doesn't want the aliens. Don't want to get mugged either.
Exactly.
They come in peace. Get him. Beat him up.
So they
Hey.
have this
Ricky, Tommy, come here.
they had this website from my old neighborhood where I grew up in Brooklyn, East New York, Cypress Hills it's called, right? And there's a park across the street from where I lived. And it had a great hill. The hill went like there was flat, then a big hill, then there was like a hump.
Was that the Cypress Hill?
No, it was like a hump, right? And then the outfield for the baseball fields were there, right?
Mm-mm.
So the big thing as a kid is I hit it to the hump. If you could hit it to the hump, it was pretty far.
Oh,
But the hump was fantastic when it snowed because you'd come down the hill and hit the hump and go airborne.
Mhm.
So somebody posted a story on there about when they were kids sleigh riding, and I used to go up there at night and collect all the broken sleds. So I lived across the street, and bring them down the basement and piece a sled together. I mean, we couldn't afford stuff like sleds, so we made sleds out of the broken parts, right?
Mm.
And somebody posted that they took the hump out. Why would you do that? Why would they go in there and bulldoze the hump on the hill?
because someone probably got hurt.
I was a kid in the 60s sleigh riding there. Now they take the hump out, 80, whatever it is.
Yeah, you
Right?
ruined it for everybody. Good job.
Yeah, 65 years later, they would take the hump out.
Even at a young age, you were a capitalist at heart.
Yeah, I mean, people used to break the sleds and leave them. So you take 3 or 4 broken sleds, you make a good one out of it. And I didn't use rivets. I drilled holes and put bolts, nuts and bolts in it to hold together.
Hmm.
You know,
What
so
about washers? Did you put some washers on it?
washers? We use washers. You had to. Yeah.
What'd you do for rust? Because the snow and all the rust is going to get on there.
No, the sleds didn't have rust.
Well, they will after a couple of seasons.
Well, you dried them before you put them away for the year.
Oh my gosh.
Rust. I used Rust-Oleum.
That was around back then?
I don't know if it was or not. I made that up.
When did WD-40 get invented?
1940.
No, it was not.
Hence the name WD.
That's not exactly true at all.
William David was 40 years old. William David 40 invented it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's not right.
You didn't know that?
That's not right.
What about the LT-48?
What about it?
How'd they get that name?
They were Lawrence Taylor fans.
No. I don't know the guy's last name. It was Lou something or other, and he was 48 years old.
Why didn't you go into the sled repair business? That would have saved us today being on the podcast.
That's true. I'd have been the sled repair man.
You could have been a guest.
Well, I mean, really, we used to do that because people would leave them up there, and they trash them and leave the sleds in the middle of the field.
Hmm.
So they go up, take the sleds, bring them back home, throw out pieces that were broken, and keep the other. Make the wood. The runners were good; they were just bent in. You bent them back out.
Did you have a nickname? Did the kids call you anything for being the sled guy?
No, they were afraid of me. No, I don't know. No, but I always had a sled. Spin the wheel.
I will.
All right, so you know how the wheel works.
As soon as I post the wood box.
We're going to call it the Boo Box because people are going to boo now when they don't win. Boo Box, put your name in it. You know how that works. If you're a staffer, don't do it. In about an hour, we will magically pick a name. And if you're here, you got 90 seconds to tell us you're here. If you're not, we'll pick another name. But on the wheel is the jumbo whammy. And if you get that, you lose your turn. We just pick another guy. You get cast to the side. What was the guy's name? Lou? Is that the guy's name the guy that we kicked out the first week?
Miguel.
Poor Miguel from Long Island set the tone.
Whose birthday it was, by the way, that next day.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. Maybe
Happy
he was
birthday.
trying to scam us. Happy
birthday,
Miguel.
you get nothing.
You lost. You get nothing and like it.
We still hooked him up.
We did. We gave him a grip sack, right?
But now if somebody gets a whammy, there's going to be no chamois.
No, nothing. You get nothing. Let's practice spin.
I will.
I'm going to go with Clear Magic.
Going for whammy. Clear Magic, brought to you by
Hammer. Clear Magic, the plant-based ball cleaner.
There it comes.
Clear Magic.
Here it comes.
By Hammer.
Oh. Grip sack.
Here we go. We're tuned in again.
You see how it almost tried to like grab onto this part again?
I know you got that. That's because you raised one of those tags on it. I know what you did.
You just got to get it going at a certain
If you
speed.
spin it the other way, it won't catch there.
That's actually not true. We already proved that wrong.
You spun it the other way? That's right, you did.
Yeah, it took a couple of weeks, but I got him hooked up.
That's right. So we're getting close to going to nationals.
A couple more weeks. Weeks.
I will be up there Thursday at the pro shop, Thursday afternoon, getting my arsenal ready.
Yeah. I got to pick mine.
I know you haven't picked yours yet. Maybe I'll put mine on a wheel and spin it.
I mean, you could probably give it away after you're done bowling your 5-10 series.
Thank you.
What? I gave you the benefit of the doubt. You're going to shoot 180.
Last time we bowled, I beat you the last series, by the way.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I beat you in the singles.
Did you beat me all events?
I did not, but I made more money than you did. So anyway, let's talk about the news. I have news.
Wait, you have the news?
I have news.
Hold on, then. Let me do the proper intro for the news.
Do the news, Lee.
It's the striking news. Bowling news and views from around the world with your hosts, Brunsnick and Phil Cardinelli. It's the striking news.
Ta-da.
Someone math checked me.
About
180 average is not 510. Maybe I'm just he's
40.
just going to shoot 1 to 180 game.
It's the internet. You have to be careful what you say. That's why we always tell the truth. So the PBA, our favorite news suppliers or bringers of news, as we call them, cut a deal with CBS Sports. CBS, actually, the whole network.
Wow.
It's really cruel what they did last week.
It's really weird. Why are they dropping their breaking news on Thursdays?
Mm-hmm.
I know why. They had this deal inked on a Tuesday for sure.
Yeah, they did.
They're like, all right, let's announce it.
They did.
Like, whoa, hold up here.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Let's not announce it today because they'll get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm. Pick it apart.
Yeah.
You busy over there?
No, I
got
got
show.
Rudy,
or what
Rudy texted me.
All right. Well,
I just told them on the podcast, so that's all. Yeah, so they dropped the news on Wednesday, so we can't. I mean, on Thursday, so we can't talk about it. But I was going to give them accolades. They cut a deal. They cut a deal with CBS Sports. They have a 2-year deal, which will include 31 hours on CBS. That's pretty cool. National TV.
The negotiator.
Lev, the negotiator. When your company is in need of a contracted date, who do you call? You call Lev, the negotiator.
When you want to be on TV for all to see, you call Lev. Negotiator. That's a catchy tune.
It's catchy. It's catchy. Maybe he'll call us and thank us for the catchy jingle.
Right.
The World Series and World Championships are going to be on CBS Sports.
Mm-hmm. Not
So
CBS or CBS Sports? Or
no, it says CBS.
Combination?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Majors.
Then we have a new thing now. We have the Commissioner's Cup.
Ooh, that cup runneth over.
It was formerly called the PBA Tour Finals. Top 8 from the previous 2 seasons. They changed the name of it. But here's interesting about it. So that was formerly the Tour Finals, top 8 from the previous 2 years, right? Next year, it's going to be an open field to all members, and the 8 finalists will make the show, and it'll be 9 hours of live coverage on CBS Sports. So that's pretty good.
What do you think the Commissioner's Cup is made out of? Do you think it's made of?
It's made out of gingerbread.
Do you think it's like a Stanley Cup? Do you think it's like made out of silver or gold?
No. I don't even know if there's a cup.
Seems like false.
I don't know. Did anybody get the cup? There's no cup. Maybe there'll be a cup.
Maybe it's a hand-carved wooden cup.
Maybe it's a protective cup.
There you go. I signed it.
Oh my God. Anyway, so anyhow, coming up is June 7th is the PBA Tour Finals.
PBA.
You know what they had to do? They got to start naming these things because they all sound the same. PBA Tour Cup, PBA Tour Championship. Anyhow, this is the top 8 players points, top 8 point getters from the 24-25 season. Not to be confused with the PBA playoffs, where the top 12 point list guys from the top 25, the 2025 season got it.
Pause.
I did.
I'm already confused.
Me too. So the PBA playoffs that just ended, which Jasper won, was the top 12 players points, top 12 point getters from the 2025 season.
That was the longest tournament ever, by the way. They went for weeks on end.
Well, wait for this one. The one starting in June 7th is the PBA Tour Finals, not playoff. And this is the top 8 players from the 2024-2025 season. So there's going to be some overlap, I would think.
What does that mean? They're combining the 2 years? Because there's
total points for 2 years.
2 years. Got it.
2-year total points.
Okay.
June 7th, Group 1, player 1, 4, 5, and 8 bowl for seeding purposes only. And I don't know how many games they bowl. They might bowl 3 games. I don't know. Group 2 is 2, 3, 6, and 7 for seeding purposes only. Then on June 8th at 5 o'clock, Group 1 step ladder. At 7 o'clock is the Group 2 step ladder. And at 9 o'clock is the finals between the winners of Group 1 and 2. So we got a lot of bowling coming up still.
And these are all taped, I'm guessing.
No, it says live.
Live?
Live.
Wow.
Yeah, live.
I'm interested.
Yeah, me too. I'll watch if it's live. If it's taped, I'll tape it. See, what I do is I double tape.
You did double tape. Okay, yeah.
Tell me about it. If it's taped, then I DVR it. So it's like a double tape. This way it cancels each other out.
And if the backup or the backup's bad, then you just go on YouTube and watch it like everybody else.
Exactly. Right. So I double tape. So that's my news for today.
I got news too.
You do?
Yeah.
Ew.
We got new shirts out.
We do. I can't wait.
We don't have them yet because they're made to order, but they are up, ready to go. The OG of bowling.
That's me.
Chew in the middle there, and then 2 variations of
God.
putt. We've been talking
I
about
didn't know there were 2 variations. Oh, they are, right. When in doubt, putt, and just putt up purple up the twig. I like that.
Yeah.
Somebody told you about the black hammer.
Yeah. They said, well, at least you don't really like the black hammer as much as you do purple.
Yeah, but
when in doubt, but.
So we got Stevie on today. Stevie
Fresh.
Going to talk about some core design stuff and things he's doing and did.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. I'm going to take a nap when he comes on because he loses me halfway through anyway.
It's not very nice.
No, it's not. I'm teasing you.
I know.
You know, but he's up there.
I know the numbers and the big words are hard for you.
They are. I like pictures. And you got pictures. We have pictures. You want pictures?
He's got pictures. All sorts of them. And we're going to put ourselves off to the side this time. So we're not interfering with any of it.
And just to touch base real quick before I forget, the power hit is approved. USBC finally put their brains back in their heads from the explosion that we created.
On May 30th, it was approved. So last Friday.
Yep. That was good. It only took them 3 more days.
And 1,400 more bowling balls to test.
1,400 more bowling balls to test, but they got it. The no doubt looked really good. Victor Valadez on my team threw it last night. Struck a lot with it.
Did he?
Yeah. I think he had 250 the first game, and he one hung up on his hand. He left a washout, but the rest were pretty solid. I'm going to draw mine Thursday.
This Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday I'm going to draw it.
That's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. I'm going to go up to the shop tomorrow afternoon. I have my little list here.
Do you still get excited to drill bowling balls?
I do. You know what? I do. Here's the problem. Here's what my excitement exists of. I lay the ball out here at the office. Get my quarter scale. I lay the ball out. I get excited. I drive up to the lanes. I drill the ball. It fits perfect.
Oh.
Then I go out on the lanes. I throw one shot and realize I can't use this ball. It took too much.
It felt so good until that part.
Well, yeah, I throw it and it looks great for 45 feet, and the pins are 10 feet too far.
Hey, my 5th bowler, my anchor, is in the chat, Dom. He's like, "Hey, you bringing any of the new Radical balls to Nationals, Nick?" I don't know yet. I haven't picked my 6 yet, so I don't know if it's gonna make the bag or not. I have an idea for about 3 of them. The other 3, I don't really know. I've heard team is going to be an absolute nightmare no matter what you bring. So I might.
If you go there with that attitude, what do you expect?
I expect purple up the twig. That's what I expect.
All right. I have my arsenal picked out.
Are you allowed to bowl in T-shirts? I forgot.
No.
Not with us.
Well, you can do whatever you want with your team. A bunch of hooligans.
But are you allowed to bowl that tournament in a T-shirt?
I don't know if you can. You're a hooligan. They don't use that word anymore, huh? You're a hooligan.
I don't think so.
No, it's probably another word. I am bringing the black hammer. I'm bringing the sneak attack with some surface on it.
Snack attack?
Sneak attack. T-zone for my spares.
Nice.
I'm bringing a short pin NU with surface. I'm bringing a Rattler Big Bite.
How short of a pin?
On the Big Bite or the NU? 2 3/4 pin.
Oh, okay.
I'm bringing a Big Bite with the pin next to the ring finger. And then I'm going to bring the no doubt solid because it looks good. I haven't even thrown it yet, but it looks good. You're
just going to put it up there for everybody to see?
Yeah, take it out, put it on a rack, put it behind the settee where people stand and look.
Like on a ball cup? Yeah. You should that's what you should do. You should just set up a little display like behind
me and then take each one and throw it because it doesn't matter how I'm bowling anyway.
No, just put the blanks up there to have like a little tiny booth.
And put the sell sheets in front of them.
People, and you can put on there, it's like, hey, if you want to talk about bowling equipment while I'm bowling, bring me a drink.
Yeah, don't bother. Right. Don't worry.
Yeah, here's the breakdown. One drink, 1 beer for, to
10
shoot
sentences. I give you 10 sentences for 1 beer. So that's what I'm bringing. So I'm going to go up
or,
to the
or 100 syllables, whichever comes first.
That's right. That's what I'm bringing. Those are my 6 because we're driving.
There you go. Phil's going to be King Tut. Miguel says here. T-zone up the twig.
Is that my? Is that the same Miguel we rejected?
That's the one. Our whammy.
The one and only.
Oh, there's no settee behind you. Okay, you're gonna have to bring a table in and then cloth.
Do you think they have a problem with that?
No, why would they?
Set up a table. We walk out, and 3 of my guys are carrying balls on the table as you walk out.
Yeah, that's fine. What's the big deal?
There's no settees. There's nothing in behind you. What separates you from the mere fans?
I think they just have railing there. I think they just had rails.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
What separates the bowlers from the peasants in the back?
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's my arsenal.
All right. Well, I know mine's gonna be purple.
Yeah.
And one reverb. The rest, I don't know.
And I'm bringing the towel.
Crying towel.
Not that kind of towel.
Yep. Purple up the twig. That's what I'm gonna use.
All right. You probably will. You'll be grinding it out. I'm going to do this to make sure. I'm going to prove that this works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm going to shoot 610, 620.
Yeah.
I'm going to average 240 because I'm bad at math.
He's bad at math. Yeah, I shot 2-0 the first game, 2-10 the second game, and 2-0. I shot 670.
No, I'm going to be like that annoying, bowler after the fact that says, "Oh yeah, I had a 260 look out there, but
I love that. Yeah,
I only shot 580."
We had our finished our league on Monday. We had the roll off. So, it's there's 12 teams in the roll off, and 8 make the cut. 4 get eliminated, and there's always that one guy. The guy, if it wasn't that I was in the industry, I'd run him over with the car. He's the guy that his team absolutely whacked him. And you only have to make the cut, top 8, right? There's no carryover in pins. The guy whose team absolutely whacked him, then walks around to ask how you guys bowled. This way, you have to reciprocate and say, "Good, how'd you do?" I'm the guy that never asks back.
We used to have a guy that used to watch the owner bowl his league on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
He wasn't all there. He was a little goofy. He would watch the owner bowl all 4 games at night, right?
Yeah.
And this is from 9 p.m. to like 11:30. Then he would come in the next morning at 10 a.m. ish to the bowl, find the owner and be like, "So how'd you bowl?"
How'd you bowl last night? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. We had a guy. It was a league. One league had a singles league inside of it. You both arbitrary guys in the league. And then bonus one guy, and I know what he shot. He bowled good. He shot like 670. And he had beaten me, But he walks down and asks, and I know he watched what I bowled. And he comes down and asks me how I bowled. I told him I shot 710.
All right.
So what's he going to say?
Are we ready to bring Steve in?
Yeah, bring him in.
I think Steve's ready. He's finally ready. You ready?
Where is it? Yeah. There he is.
Yeah. Where you been? Where you been this whole time?
What are you doing?
Hanging out.
What's going on, man?
Trying to recuperate from the day.
What happened?
Oh, it's the end of school, man. It's crazy.
Today, it's over now. This is it.
No, our last day of school is next Monday, so the kids have checked out. They're ready.
Oh yeah, they're done. They're done.
They're not doing anything. So today was like I let the kids bring in an Xbox and let them have their phones. And so we sat around. I had about 40, 50 kids in my small room, and then took them outside.
And when is the finals?
Last week.
Oh, they're done.
Yeah. I mean, some people are doing it this week, but I don't even give a final.
I would have dropped another one in just to ruin the day.
Yeah, do like a pop quiz. It's like 50%.
Today's pop quiz, and this is going to be 85% of your score, so for your grade.
I've got kids already on vacation. They're at the beach.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah. So the afternoon, it's hot here today. It's like 80, 88, 89 degrees. So we went out and played kickball and wiffle ball, and one of the volleyball players was jawing all day. She wanted to play some spike ball, going to spike it in my face, and then she let a 52-year-old beat her. So that
beautiful. I would have played dodgeball with baseballs.
Yeah, or a wrench.
What's the old days, man? You can't even play dodgeball anymore.
You can't do that, right?
Yeah, that was the best.
We used to have a game in grade school called Socko. It was like dodgeball, right? You had the two sides, you play on a court or whatever. But when somebody got knocked out, they went behind the opponent's team, behind them, and they're still kind of in the game where they can pick up balls or whatever and throw behind at the other team and knock them out too.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So that was called Socko, and that one got banned after because people were taking dodgeballs to the face. I'm sure.
We used to play stickball in the schoolyard with the box on the wall, right? And then the losing team, we had a thing called booties up. You're gonna love this. Booties up. Booties up. If you lost, you had to turn around and bend over, hold on to the box, and the other guys fired a ball at you.
Yeah, butts
Each
up.
guy had a chance to hit the other guy. So we try to aim slightly below the butt to catch him in the what.
Jeez.
You grew up in Brooklyn, right?
I did.
Did they like play stickball in the streets?
Oh, absolutely. 2 sewers with 3 sewer home runs. Oh, it was perfect. We had an oak tree down the corner, the only tree on the block. And if you hit it in the oak tree, it was in play. So the guys would wait under for the ball to come out, and if you caught it, it was out. You know, because if you hit it down the street, the guy could run under and catch it. So you had to use different obstacles.
Yeah.
So he was always whacking in the oak tree. Then they took the oak tree down because people were hiding behind it and mugging people at night. So they tore the tree down.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite the neighborhood.
We used to play a lot of tennis ball in the street, but never stickball.
Yeah. Hey, we played a game called Ringalerio. Okay, and it was 5 against 5. And you had a den. And you had to capture the guys, bring them in a den. And you got all 5 captured. And you had to tackle them to capture them. If you captured all 5 guys and brought them in the den, you won. And you had a guard. The guy guarded the den. So they couldn't escape, but a guy can come in and free him, right? But there were no rules. And we would chase guys for blocks. A guy was chasing me one time. I got on a bus at the bus stop at 10 o'clock at night. He waited for me to come back home.
My goodness.
Wow. Look, Nick's pushing us on here.
Yeah, he's in a hurry. He doesn't like. Nick never likes to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the time there, Phil.
Such a shame.
He's got someplace to be, Nick. I got to go home and I got to watch my grass grow. It's summertime here in Michigan.
I'm actually growing grass right now because every spring I have to clean
Nobody
up
cares,
the
Nick.
dog.
Let's move on.
The dog areas, I got to clean them up.
Yeah, and then you plant grass in them.
Yeah, it's real nice. But
all right, we're ready.
All right. Chris Haynes asked a question already. I'll answer while I'm thinking about it. He asked about how deep the holes to generate the after drilled numbers. All fingers have always, for everything I've ever done, have always been 2 inches. Radius is 31/32. Or no, it's not. It's 31/64. So it's 31/32 holes, just like a finger grip. And the thumb's always 3 inches.
You get it right, 31/32.
Yeah.
31/32.
If you drill the thumb more than 3 inches, it really doesn't do much extra for the drilled numbers.
Yeah. All right. So what are we going to talk about today, Steve? What do you got for us?
Well, I looked at the past data talks, and I don't think I ever talked about the power hitter. And to be real honest, I still want to talk about the torpedo a little bit. I actually drilled up my own torpedo, and I haven't bowled in I think it's been right around 15 years, I had to throw the torpedo. So
direct hit or the original?
Oh God, not the direct hit. I need all the help I can get.
You are a true Mo prodigy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I hit it with 80 grit.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't change the surface.
Got my burgundy pad in my back pocket.
I should have probably hit it with a little surface, but I just had to drill that ball for myself. And I don't want to brag, but I was happy. I threw 829 for 4 games.
That is good.
And for no I don't have much hand. I don't have any revs.
Yeah.
I might have shared the video. And
I think the greatest accomplishment there is you got through 4 games.
I told the woman at the counter, I was like, look, I might bowl 4 frames, but let's sign me up for a whole game. And I might be back, but probably won't. And I just kept going back one more game, just one more. I was striking so much for me. I love that ball. And
so what hurt the next day?
Well, I think I'm just always in a continuous state of hurt. So,
especially after all those sports against the volleyball player today, you're probably gonna be hurting even more tomorrow on spike ball.
Yeah,
exactly.
Plus with the heat, but
yeah.
And then there's a local
180.
bowler. There's a local bowler around here, Josie Knight, and I gave her a torpedo. I think I drilled hers up about the same as I drilled my own up, and she just hammered the pocket with that ball. I don't know how other people are feeling about that ball, but I love that ball.
That core is really, really, really well made for especially today's environment. I mean, it does everything right. You know,
yeah.
And
then with the 2 different covers, like
yep, exactly.
Like my brother and then another guy here, 2-hander, a lot more revs than I have. They're throwing a direct hit, and that ball it just goes through the pin so nice.
It does. It really does. It does.
And a lot of that is, well, I'm going to talk about some things that maybe I shouldn't, but I will. But a lot of that is designed into the shape.
Right.
And I'll talk a little bit about that. Maybe, hopefully not too much about it, but I will.
No, you can talk about whatever you want when it comes to this show. Just remember, it's a family show, Steve.
Well, I just don't want to give away too many secrets.
You think the other companies are watching? They're in there as aliases.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. There's some new names in here. I don't recognize some of them today.
Exactly.
Welcome, everybody, from our competition. Glad to have you here.
Welcome.
but yeah, I figured we'd talk a little bit about the power hitters since it just came out. And then I'll do some comparison. There's a few slides that are repeats, but I'll talk about them a little say some different things about them.
All right,
great. Well, let's get into it. We got a lot of slides this week.
Yeah, some of them will go real quick. Like this one, people can look up on their own.
Which, we kind of go by it quick, but we're still the only company that does this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We have a set, and it's amazing that no one's really tried to copy it. I think they're embarrassed to copy it now.
It's gone on too long.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So this is a good slide to compare, especially the max flip layout. But then to also notice that the other 4 layouts, the drill diffs are really similar. I mean, the torpedo starts with 002 more intermediate diff and 001. And then when you look at all the other drillings, they basically stay right about 002 more and 001. The only difference is that max flip layout.
Sure, yeah.
But that's the power of that nose.
The nose. That's because it's longer, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. But so what I've always asked people, when I really get into conversations, I've always asked, like, how can 2 balls have the exact same diffs but roll different?
I know.
Yes, Phil.
Thank you. I think it's because where you put the holes.
Oh, well, that'll affect. But even if you had two bowling balls with the same diffs and you drilled them the same way,
right,
with the same cover stock,
the shape of the core.
The shape of the core is everything.
Right. I knew the answer.
Yep.
I raised my hand like I was in class.
Well, we are in class.
We are. That's
Everybody's in class right now.
Yep. Yeah.
All 264 of us.
Yeah.
66.
There's so many engineers in the bowling industry that were bowlers that argued with me forever that if the diffs and the RGs are the same, the balls are all the same. I said, well, what about after you put a hole in it? Well, that's different. Well, of course it's different. The shape made it roll different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, so here, this is the only ball that I have the axis migration on it. For anybody new, the two red dots beside the PSA and the pin are the after drilling PSA and low RG locations.
They move.
Yep. I tried to add a little bit of color this week.
Wow. Getting
I like
fancy over
that.
there.
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah.
fancy. I'm getting.
Maybe
Going
you can become a marketing guy now. That's scary.
I'm going that extra mile just because I know you like the marketing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You want to do
It's
the
gotta look-
podcast full time?
It's got to look pretty.
I mean, you're not doing anything this summer. You want to take over for Phil?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Got to get some youth in here.
Some Utes.
Youths.
Oh man.
All right.
Michael Smith, you can go to the next slide. Michael Smith asked a good question. Do you think the reason for this is that two different cores with the same diffs have different RG planes? Well, okay. If I have two bowling balls with the exact same, if the RG of the PAP is the same and my total diffs are the same, the axis migration will be identical.
Mm-hmm. So it should
So the
roll
They-
the same.
well, no, they won't have the same motion, but the axis migration will track across the ball on the same RG plane. The axis migration path is totally defined by the total diffs of the ball, the drilled diffs of the ball, and the value of the RG of the PAP. That will define the track that PAP is going to travel.
So
I
once
don't
you
know
let
if that
go, then all the core motion takes over.
Yes.
So that
And I have always been for the argument.
So for if it's on the same migration path, can it cover if they throw it exactly the same speed and revs? Is there a way that the ball is going to migrate faster on one ball than the other with different cores?
I believe so, because I believe that certain core shapes are going to enable the ball to rev up quicker, faster.
Even with identical after drilling numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. All right. Just going through all the different layouts. We use this one in the video just to give a wider range between the two. We don't have a short pin. No, we do. We do have a short pin in there, but we use a short pin on the symmetrics.
But that 40 by layout, doesn't that one for like the lower rev players actually
Low
hook
speed,
more?
low rev. Yeah, it hooks more. Right.
Yeah.
Especially on the back. Yeah, we get always
Absolutely.
maintains its axis rotation a little bit longer, seems like, and
Yep.
it doesn't flare as much. So
That's
it's
interesting.
harder.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So what happens when you drill a ball like that for a symmetrical ball?
Your diffs just for a symmetrical ball, the diffs just won't increase as much.
Okay. Even with the short pin, the pin down layouts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The diffs just won't be as high. I don't know if I have any. I have SolidWorks pulled up, but I don't know if I have that.
I know, because people are asking a lot about that now, because we always promote or push pin down on ASIMs for low speed, low rev players. And it's always on our ASIMs that we talk about it. But, now we're starting to get questions about on a symmetrical ball. Is it beneficial to them to do that?
Well, I mean, I could always figure that out real quick. I mean, I could do it sitting here in 2-3 minutes, but
yeah.
But you'd have to put them on. I mean, we don't use this layout for the symmetrical.
No,
ball.
we don't. That's what I'm saying.
why-
People are asking that.
Yeah, my question is like when we, the pin down, hold down was so popular with the symmetrical core.
Correct.
Back
Now
then,
with the pin down, without the hold down.
how much of a difference are we talking about in total diff and intermediate without using that hole down, not
Right.
the double thumb, but just like
No,
the
just the
45
right.
degree, 6 3/4 from the pin hole down that we used to use all the time.
Right.
How much was that really affecting things? And is it, is it a huge amount? I'm sure it's going to be different for every ball. And if we're using it on a ball that has protrusions, like say like a snapshot or something, I think you can really blow up the numbers on that. If you could use an extra hole.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, when we're doing the spin the wheel,
yeah, you're going to figure it out, Freddie.
I'll plug it in, and maybe I'll do. You want me to do a no doubt?
Yeah, do a no doubt, just because it's a new ball.
Snapshot with the
well, the no doubt's the newest one though, but do that one.
Well, I can do both of them in just a little bit extra time. So I'll put the 45 layout.
Right. Only at this time on a Wednesday afternoon can you get instant
live updates.
Live updates.
We just think of stuff, and
we solve that problem, and we fix
Steve
the problem.
makes it come up.
That's exactly
we just
right.
See. So
and if anyone would ever want to put questions on the YouTube video, man, feel free. I love that type of hypothetical question.
Yeah.
So I just repeated this slide because I knew we were going to go through all the layouts, and I thought it would just be good to add it again so people will see that the drill diffs for both are just slightly different because of the beginning diffs, 1754 compared to 1553.
Yeah.
They increased the same.
They're all linear except for the one.
Right. Yeah. The core shapes are so similar, but
different.
They're different. And so in my analysis, I look at, because to me, drill diffs is one thing, but that's not what is important to me. What is important to me is the shape of that core and how, as that ball is rolling down the lane, how that core shape is rolling down the lane. And there are places where you can add mass or take mass away. There are things that you can do to help increase the, how much, like the rev rate as it gets closer to the pin to spin line. It's all about how the mass gets shifted around in that ball, because even though, and I'm going to say something important, even though the PAP follows the RG contour, so it maintains the same RG value, that does not mean that the mass that's rotating around that axis stays the same. And I've never said that before, and I shouldn't have said it now. But
now that you said it,
I study. That's how we predict motion. That's how we're able to fine tune these cores, because I figured out ways to study the changes in mass that's as that ball travels down the lane. So even though these cores look very similar, except that nose, and on the next screen, if you could go to the next screen, actually, well, you can see here the nose doesn't stick out as far on the power hitter, but on the next screen, you'll see from the top view, you'll see that it's, instead of a cut off circle, I made the torpedo more elliptical. And even though, and that's why I wanted the drilled values on there twice, because even though the drilled diffs are the same, these balls are rolling different.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people a long time ago that you had developed a program that predicted where the mass was going to be as the ball went down the lane.
Yes. Well, yes.
And to me, that was the whole thing. We can actually mimic a ball's motion without having to throw the ball down the lane and tape it and record it or whatever we do and track it, monitor it. We can do that just by saying it's drilled this way. This is what it's going to look like. And here's where the mass is going to be.
Revs on the left says, will Radical ever make a tour style ball, i.e. the Envy Tour or Effect Tour? Phil, you can answer that. Then I'm going to go back a couple of slides and show something off.
Okay. You know, we've talked about it, but you know what makes a ball a tour ball? Because it has a lower differential or a lower or higher RG, or you know. So if we don't call it that, does that mean it's not? You know, if I make a ball with an 035 diff,
right?
Does that make it not a tour ball? Because I didn't call it a tour ball. You know, it's
yeah.
We have
What I want to point out is with
go ahead.
if you look at the mid lane hook layout,
Yeah,
or actually, you know what? Look at the smaller hook. Look at the short pin layout. Even
right.
if you're looking on a torpedo, and you compare those numbers after drilling to that Envy Tour, which has, I believe, in the 030s, high 030s total diff and about a 013 intermediate.
Right, there you go.
There is your tour ball. It's lower flare, tighter flaring with a strong cover. There you have it. Torpedo, maybe with some surface on it to kind of dig in a little bit more.
Exactly.
And short pin it. That's where I was going with that.
That's good thinking. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah. But you know, by the same token, when you start looking at balls like that, we had the Sneak Attack. You know, it had a fairly strong cover and a low total diff. So you know, if I called it that, would that make it a better ball? Probably not. It'd be the same ball, just had a different name.
Might sell more.
Maybe.
I'm gonna post the Woo box one more time.
We're not as much about hype as we are about fact and solving problems. So you guys know what to do with the Woo box. Put your name in it. If you're a staffer, don't do it. In about 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes, we're going to have a name picked out. You'll have 90 seconds to tell us you're here. If you're not here, we're going to pick somebody else. Once you're here, you're going to get a spin. If you don't like the gift, you can spin again. We do have a whammy on there or a loose turn. If you have any questions about how that works, contact Miguel. He's
he's in the chat.
He'll
answer all questions for you.
He'll answer all questions on how that worked.
And wish him a happy belated birthday.
Happy belated birthday, Miguel. So anyway, Stevie, I think he's calculating.
Yeah,
Calculating.
There was a no thumb question.
I saw it.
Yeah, that was. So I was looking at some no thumb data.
So the question was, Steve, how does all this change when you're looking at two-handers with less mass removed without a thumb hole?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously the thumb hole allows, especially when you drill around the nose, it allows the total diff to increase a lot, and your intermediate diff, actually, both diffs. But you know, working a little bit with Larry Balzer here in Parkersburg, we've actually drilled some no thumb with the fingers hitting the nose or right around the nose just to blow up the diffs and see how it goes. So that's still a difficult question for me. I still haven't done enough research, and I wish I had, but it's.
Steve, I wouldn't worry about it. I think this two-handed thing is a fad.
Yeah, we're only the problem-solving company for people that use their thumbs, right, Phil?
That's correct. I think it's a fad. It'll never stick.
Yeah, there's too many people doing it for it to be popular.
Yeah. Like Yogi Berra. Nobody goes to that restaurant anymore. It's too crowded.
Oh man.
Someone, John asked, can anyone get a copy of the drill sheets without buying the actual ball? Is there a library of these sheets? Yes, there is.
Yeah.
You can find it on the website. Every ball that's listed has down there the resources below with all the info. Yeah. You can get your drill sheets. You can look up all the numbers. They are cataloged for everybody to see.
And just remember, they only apply to that ball.
Right.
So the drill sheet that gives you the after drilling numbers only applies to that core shape. So
yeah, I use it myself often.
Yeah,
it's quicker to look up than looking through my files. And
oh yeah,
so quick.
Depends on your internet. If it's Phil's internet, then it could take you 7 to 8 business days.
You make mock, but
yeah.
You know, from the top view on this one here on the right, on the hitter, it kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon a little bit. I'm just
Yeah, it does.
Dun, 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 dun,
wrong,
dun, dun.
wrong theme
No?
song. By the
That's
way,
not the
that's
right
John
song.
Williams too. By the way,
Isn't that Star Wars?
my goodness.
Wasn't I right?
Oh,
Wrong theme
yes.
song. Why is
Yeah,
that
it's
the
the
wrong
wrong
theme
theme song. Millennium
Why?
Falcon. They weren't the dark side.
No, I know, but that was from the movie. Millennium Falcon was what's it? Harrison Ford's spaceship.
You saw
All
Star
right.
Wars? What are we looking
All
at?
right.
Star Wars. Go ahead.
Dark.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah. So anyway, so I added the max flip layout here, mostly because I don't know. I just wanted to compare. You see a little bit of difference with the axis migration because the torpedo on the left has higher drill diffs than the power hitter. And I already can't remember the numbers, but
068 and 059.
yep. And so, yeah, it was 034, 068, and 025, 059. So that's what accounts for the difference. Matter of fact, the torpedo is so, look how straight that is. At least the power hitter has a little bit of curvature.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's real tight. Now,
That's following the
that axis
elliptical.
migration is everything.
Yeah.
Defines everything.
Mm-hmm. Defines
You
who we
know,
are in life.
I'm talking about like when you think about how that mass is rolling down the lane, that core is just turning. You know, you put a short pin layout, it's not like throwing a spiral, but it's more like a spiral.
Sure.
If you put if you draw a 5-inch, 6-inch pin or something, that ball is really end over end.
Right.
So that axis migration, which is why we've calculated it for a long time. And the next few slides, I'm sharing something that we actually worked on in 2018. 2018, we built all these cores. They all have an 050 total diff and the various intermediate diffs on the screen there. You can see them in the upper left-hand corner. And
Looks like
once
you
I
just made
created
it more elliptical.
Yeah, I just made and the next screen, that's a diametric view. So on the next screen, you can really see they're not manufacturable. They couldn't be, you can't draft those in a mold. They could be slightly altered, but yeah, it just made the main, I don't remember, but I don't think I even made the top cylinder and bottom cylinder different sizes. I think everything was about that elliptical band.
And around, yeah, exactly. I see what you're saying.
Seems like a quick project when you do it that way.
Well, after I made the first three, it was real easy to make the rest of them because I had figured out it was very linear changes. I knew exactly how much I needed to increase that ellipse to get it to the intermediate diff that I wanted.
Right.
And then just to show how specific we are and thorough, the next screen will show the drilled diffs, undrilled diffs actually on the left. And so you'll notice on the left, all the masses are the same. The low RGs are going to be a little bit different because you're talking about a different all inner cores are at 2.65 grams per cubic centimeter. But because the core volume is slightly larger, the outer core density had to be lowered to maintain the 15.25 gross weight. Yeah. But you'll see the pin out measurements are really close. Yeah.
You can see the core volume changed quite a bit. 72 points, somewhere in there.
Yeah, in order to get that intermediate diff up, I had to make it larger.
So you do that, and then you got to change the outer core material, like you said, to match the total weight. So you got to take 72 grams per cubic centimeter. Is that what it is? Out of the outer.
Yeah.
or
Well,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
coordinate,
point
whatever the
oh
formula. Yeah, that's like four steps
41.
above my pay grade. So I don't know.
0.041. Yeah, just a little bit, but I had to. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
okay,
And then
now,
the drilled numbers.
yeah, the drilled number. So back then I only shared one layout, but we had I think it was a 10 by something or another layout and a 75 by something or another. But I showed you the 45 because it's more complete. Um, we're going to end up coming back to the screen because I'll show you what I mean, like the PSA plane. On a symmetrical ball, the PSA shifts a lot more than it will for like an 030, 050 ball. Matter of fact, when you look at the intermediate diff column, yeah, here we go. We'll look at this and go back. The red dot on the ball is where the PSA migrated. So
After
for
the
the
drilling.
after drilling, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the low RG shifted too. You can see those, and it actually shifts more with the asymmetric balls than it will the symmetric. So they're flip-flop. The low RG is really stable on a symmetrical ball, not as much for an asym, and it's vice versa for the low RG. The low RG is very stable on a asymmetric ball and less stable on a symmetrical ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I said, like on the last screen, what was that last screen? Like for the see where it says PSA plane 131 in the upper right?
Yep.
That means the PSA starts on plane 90 according to my notation and the numbers I use. So it shifted 41 degrees, which is going to be what?
Wow.
I mean, I don't really want to do
that's
that
the
math.
top left here, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So where you drew that PSA, which on that ball would have been just through the CG, is what you're saying?
Yes. The PSA
So
would have been.
it'd have been an imaginary PSA, essentially, because it was symmetric.
Exactly.
Okay. So then after drilling, it moved all the way over to left side of the thumb after you drilled holes.
41 degrees. What is that? Like 3 inches or something? We're close to that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. But then look at the axis migrations. You know, look how straight they become.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw that with the torpedo core. It wants to follow that elliptical base, or that body seems flatter when you do that, much flatter.
Yep. And then could you go back to the I'm looking at the I'm looking left to right at the intermediate diffs, and you'll see that the 000 ball increased by 10
points,
then 7, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
So you really didn't, because you're maxing them out at that point when you go up really high, right?
Yep. And this is the 45 layout, so it's not, and this core shape doesn't have a nose, so it's a very not generic shape, but there was a recent ball
really
that
matter
actually
if
released that looked like this.
Yeah, it wouldn't really matter too much if you shifted it 70 or 45, because essentially going to take out the same type of mass out of that thumb, right?
Right. Especially with the asymmetric balls.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But the other, I think there was one more thing on the.
Yeah, you don't have numbers for that 036 ball.
You mean the blank?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The when I was talking a little bit earlier about how we studied the mass shifting in that ball, what we discovered was for these balls, remember this is only for this type of basic core shape. We were doing a symmetrical ball study back then. Remember, this is 2018. This is like balance hole, like leaving time. So we were trying to maximize without balance holes and trying to think. So when we were looking at the mass rotating, the 030 ball and the 036 ball were extremely similar. to the point that we were like, let's move on. Let's look at some other stuff. And that's why the picture for that 030 ball looks a little bit different, because we were, back then Mo would be like, all right, look, we're going to stop this. We're going to look at this. Let's look at this now. Let's look at this now.
So you had to pivot. You just had to pivot nonstop with him.
Yeah. And then try to remind him, like, 3 weeks later, like, do we want to go back and finish this? And by then we may not even remember what we were doing 3 weeks ago. But yeah, the 030 ball and the 036 ball were real similar in the way the mass. My curves were basically the same.
Yeah. Yeah, when you get that intermediate so high and close to the total, it really confuses the ball. The
balls don't know what to do. Hook, stop, roll forward, not spin.
It's like
they seem to be a little temperamental, don't they?
You get like two people yelling at a dog commands, and then the dog just kind of looks around confused, like, I don't know what to do.
Wasn't that a George Carlin skit when he named the dog Stay?
Yeah, sit, stay.
Sit.
He named the dog.
Come here, Stay.
Yeah.
Stay. Come here. I think it was George Carlin.
Yeah.
Sounds like him.
But yeah, so is there another? This might be the last slide, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, I want to show this because I've been sitting on this a while. I look at this a lot when I'm thinking about generic core shapes and some of the differences of asymmetrical balls. Just because of the asymmetry built in the balls, the mass will rotate around that ball differently than a symmetrical ball will, because a symmetrical ball, it's basically the same on any plane. There's so much symmetry.
I got an idea for a core if you want to hear it. All right, so I'm going to go back a couple slides here. It's basically the same core as you got here. So, all right, so you got the big nose on the torpedo, right?
Yeah.
What would happen if you used dual density for that nose and made that the kind of power core type ultra dense nugget, if you will, kind of built in that kind of just plugs into the core, and then the thing is poured?
Have
you, because I know all our cores are single density. What would happen if we started messing around with dual density stuff?
I have offered that in the past.
Okay.
We have to get manufacturing to buy in on stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're already kind of doing it though in manufacturing. Well, so I just mean like, well, at what point could we say, okay, that bottom mass, the boat, that could be a separate piece that's completely different density. What would that do? Sounds like a fun experiment to me.
We used to glue caps and bottoms on it with different shapes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of manufacturing being able to do that.
Yeah, Nick, I've actually talked to Buckosh a fair amount about my idea. What I've always wanted to do, and again, I shouldn't even say this because then someone will try to steal it, but
don't say it.
I wanted to do what you just said, but I think that, like, when you think about the katanas and you think about even like the Guru, I'm looking over there because I got a Guru core in my room here, but I've always thought that there might be a way for me to create what you just said, almost like a jack, like a bouncing, the jack game, that could be incorporated into old designs.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
And I'm thinking along that lines because of what Phil was saying about manufacturing, because like, once you get into dual densities, as of right now, there's some limited. Yeah. You got to be careful because of production cost and level of difficulty too. I mean,
Yeah, repeatability. I mean, there's a lot of different issues.
Right. You create something, you put all this money into creating the molds and everything, and then all of a sudden you get them off the assembly line and they're all got top weights and pinouts jacked up, and
Sure.
so there's a little bit of caution, I think, with all, but I have definitely thought about that. I would love to do that.
Hey, well, as long as the gross weights are in check, we don't care about pin distance or tops.
Yeah, but I was on Bowling Chat. I was on Bowling Chat not too long ago, and there was a question on there that, matter of fact, they said, Phil, they emailed you and you answered them, which was a great answer. And I gave them a little bit more. That torpedo right there, because of that nose is so large, the PSA is 90 degrees from the top of the center of the top of that core. Okay. And 90 degrees from that is the PSA, which goes right in that thumb. Because that thumb is so large, the PSA actually shifts down about, I don't know, maybe a quarter of an inch.
Yeah, so it's not 6 3/4.
Exactly. The pin locator is not 6 3/4. So these guys on the forum on Bowling Chat, they were talking about how they just use the pin and draw 6 3/4 from it. And like, I wouldn't do that. Like when I lay out a ball, I use they get punched in the factory.
Yeah, and they get spun. Yeah, they spin them and punch them.
They get spun and punched. So that's the PSA.
Yeah, I tried to explain that. That was my explanation, was that we spin every ball.
Yeah. There's going to be variations with not just with radical balls, but with every ball that's asymmetric. They're not going to be true 6 3/4 because it depends on the core shape and the mass and all that. Some are a little longer, some are a little shorter. So it just depends which way it swings. But that just means the pin is also, the true pin is kind of shifting too with it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every time you drill a ball, the PSA and low RG will shift. I remember when Mo didn't believe me on that, and I kept saying, Mo, it's like, dude, it shifts. I'm calculating it. I'm figuring it out. Like I can see it. But
that's probably part of the reason why he always said, don't ever drill a short pin closer than 7.75 of an inch from your PAP, because it can shift almost that amount, and then you can reverse flare in some cases.
Exactly. Reverse flare. Right.
Yeah.
There's a few questions. There's a few questions in here about the symmetrical pin downs.
And we'll get to those in 1 second. We got to have a top 5 before we get to all the questions. How about that?
and wait, did Steve calculate the pin down yet?
I don't know if I want to do that now. Look at what you got here.
Oh, okay. No. Let's wait. All right, go ahead.
All right. So, when we first brought Steve on, in our pre-show, for all the people that were in the pre-stream gang, they don't see all that stuff, but it was a madhouse in his class right there.
Oh, yeah, it was.
So at 2:30 or so, when we first got in there, he was like, he just couldn't hear him. So I was like, I got an idea for a top 5. So now that I know some of the stuff I know, like I think the top 5 would have changed. Sorry, they're in Fiji. They're in Fiji right now. They're in Cancun.
Yeah, right. They're drinking umbrella drinks or something.
Right, as a 17-year-old, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so top 5 reasons Steve's students are tardy for his class. They're up too late the night before trying to understand the assignment. That's number 5.
No. Up too late the night before because they're too busy playing Fortnite, maybe, or Call of Duty.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't know. People are going to be watching this show and just trying to go through all the numbers and all the things you talk about, RG planes and RG PAP values. They're going to be like, huh?
Yeah.
Number 4. As soon as I can do it here. Why is it not going? Hello?
You had one job was the top 5 today. One job.
It did the same thing.
He thought he meant number 5. I'm doing a number 5 today. That's it.
Oh my goodness. So the same thing that happened, Phil, when I was uploading his thing happened to this thing too. It only did the first 2 slides, which is kind of funny. So I'm going to have to, I guess, turn it into a PDF real quick and then upload it, because that's pretty funny that it did that to... Yeah, I don't know why, but that's just what it did. I know the suspense, right?
I know.
I don't know what, Steve, while we're waiting, what are some of the excuses you get for tardiness sometimes?
I don't even allow them an opportunity to give me a reason anymore. I just give them a hard time, and I mean, I've had so many different reasons through the years. I don't even believe anything they say anymore.
All right, we're good now.
I'm not kidding.
Number 5. They're too late. They're up too late the night before trying to understand the assignment. Number 4. They had buy one get one on Slim Jims at the 7-Eleven.
Slim Jims or Takis?
Right, Takis. Yeah, that's funny. Number 3. Band practice ran late trying to perfect John Williams' scores. When I came up with this one, Phil says, "Who?"
I don't know who that is.
John Williams.
You could say the name as loud as you want. I still don't understand. I don't know who he is. You could say it low. You could say it loud. You could say it in Spanish. I don't know who it is. By saying it louder doesn't mean I will know it.
I could have said Pavarotti. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, the Italian opera singer." Yeah,
I knew that. Yeah, exactly.
By the way,
well, there you go. Why don't you pick somebody famous?
Oh my God. You must be a Hans Zimmer guy.
You
know what that song is called?
From Star Wars?
Yeah, do you know what that song is actually called?
Dun, dun, dun. That's not the name?
It's the Imperial March. All right, number 2.
Knew that.
Got busy at lunch sketching teachers' new core designs on napkins.
This is where I get all my inspiration.
They got to get their extra credit for failing on the midterms.
And the number one reason.
And the number one reason Steve's students are tardy first class. They fell asleep in Incon. Didn't make it.
Yeah.
I can relate. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
You don't like economics?
No, I did not.
Really?
Well, imagine, what's his name? Ben Stein being your teacher.
Great movie.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, that same monotone.
Bueller.
So the derivatives of
yeah, but economics is what makes the world go round.
That's actually not true. I'm pretty sure it's gravity.
Yeah, like you would know what that is.
Gravity. Yeah, it was that movie with Sandra Bullock, right?
Yeah, when she got trapped in space, and George Clooney shows up at the window.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's not it.
Yeah. All right. So you got questions, right? We got questions. Look up questions.
We did.
Don had a couple good questions. Don Amyo, maybe.
What time stamp you got?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It was oh shoot, I got the wrong mouse.
There we go. Will we ever see a radical core with a hole in it?
Yeah, he had another one. I was curious, Don, do you mean like a hole in the back of the core?
No, I think he means a void.
Yeah, like the old Morich. I'm drawing a blank. What was that core's name?
The Fix?
No. Although I have people asking me about the Fix all the time.
Yeah. No, we don't. Well,
Easy Rev.
Oh, the Easy Revs, the Easy Rev core.
Was that what his core?
I think so. Yeah. No, we don't have a plan for that. We're gonna go probably densities before we go holes. Different density, maybe inserts in the core.
It's our density. What do they say in Back to the Future? You are my density. I'm sorry. Destiny.
Destiny.
You're my destiny. He had another good comment too, but I don't remember now what. It was after that one.
After that or before that?
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah. Here we go. Jamal wants to know, what would Radical's current benchmark ball be? Should we look at a benchmark drilling?
I would look more towards drilling. Now that we have the super symmetrical cores, we give you the widest range possible. If you look at the intermediate diff, I just pulled out one of the on the no doubt solid, for instance. Okay, the intermediate diff is 0 and the total diff is 51. You want to make that a benchmark ball? You can go down to 010, 010, and 049.
Up to 010.
Up to 010, yeah, up to 010 and down to 049. So, and there's other opportunities like, smoother motion balls. I would look at a core, the drilling options in the core, and then look at the covers that are on it and go by basically what kind of cover do you want around the ball, and then go from there.
Steve, are you plotting the pin down right now?
I'm going to be done in less than a minute.
Perfect. See? Well, I'm not going to bring up this next question. Then we'll get to that here in a minute.
Okay.
But I guess you can answer. Just kind of a no-brain question. What's your favorite burger chain?
Oh, burger chain. Oh man.
White Castle.
We did the top 5. We did the top 5 burgers last week.
We don't have White Castle around my area. We have like boring like Wendy's is about all.
Yeah.
Wendy's and Burger King. I don't even eat Burger King anymore. I don't eat McDonald's anymore.
Yeah.
I've been stuck here lately on like either Chipotle or there's this Korean barbecue place. I've been getting some good.
I like Korean barbecue.
I love going to Koba.
Is there any authentic taco places there?
Not good.
Not good.
We have some.
Yeah, you guys have great. Kidding me?
We got a couple spots out here that are pretty good.
Yeah, Levi's Tacos.
Hey, didn't the Dodgers like destroy the Yankees here a couple weeks ago?
They only outscored them like 30-something to 14. But hey,
it's one win. You don't get more points. You don't get more.
So not
credit
only
for winning more than one
did the
game.
Yankees lose another series to the Dodgers, they got obliterated. And Phil didn't want to bet. And you wouldn't even have to pay. You wouldn't even had to have paid up on Olive Garden because there wasn't a sweep. That's all I wanted was a sweep for Olive Garden.
I did not. Olive Garden will never be on the table again as long as we bet. And you will never bet because you're going to say,
Olive Garden is never going to be on the table.
I don't like it. I want to lose. I want to lose a bet and I want to enjoy it. I don't want to have to lose a bet and sit there and look at a menu for a half hour.
Does anybody in the chat have a violin? I don't care if it's a nice one like a Stradivarius or if anybody has like just a cheap one that they got off of like Craigslist.
It's embarrassing
collecting
to go to Olive Garden.
Can anybody start playing it for Phil whenever he talks about this?
Olive Garden.
I wish I had a track that I could play music wise that I can just pull up whenever you. It's almost as sad as John Williams' Schindler List theme, but not that sad.
When I go to Olive Garden, I have to stare at the menu for 45 minutes. I read every single word, and none of it is ever appealing. Ever appealing.
Keep talking. J Max is playing.
There you go. Just telling you. All right. Could have had a friendly bet. I would have bought you dinner at a nice restaurant. You could have went to Roadhouse if you wanted.
That's not nice.
No, but I'm saying we could have went anywhere. You could have picked one of the worst restaurants in the area. I would have taken you as long as it didn't have an olive and a garden in it.
I would have set you up. You know what I would have done?
No.
I would have worked it out. I would have got one of those take-home things from Olive Garden. I would have secretly brought it to the restaurant we were going to go to. I would have made a deal with the manager to bring that out instead of whatever you ordered.
You are not
with the
that
breadsticks
creative.
And everything.
You're not that creative.
I just came up with it.
Yeah, you can't execute it though.
I'm going to execute you, just like the Dodgers executed the Yankees.
Yeah, whatever. Mets. Well, I hope you win tonight against the Mets.
I hope so too.
That would look pretty bad. Two out of 3 from the Mets.
Good team, unlike the other team across town.
The theory is the Dodgers lost so many times to the Yankees when they were in New York. It's they're giving them back some of the games. That's how I look at it.
Sure.
So
that was around the same time, or was that before you ditched your team for the?
They ditched me.
I don't care where the Dodgers ever move. I'll be a Dodger fan.
Until you. Oh, the Tigers are great.
Why would I say that?
The other day you said it. Oh, the Tigers are great.
I didn't say that.
So,
we got any more questions?
I don't know.
I have some answers.
Uh-oh. All right, go ahead. I'm ready. I'm listening. And I'm
Okay.
even going to write this down so that I have it when people ask.
I'm about to post it in the chat. This is actually pretty interesting. It's something happened that I didn't really expect. Can you pull up the PowerPoint again?
Sure can. Oop, not that one. We want that one. Which one do you want?
I wanted to go to the
Pin down.
Did my comment not post? There it is. And then yeah, to the table. Ah, shoot. What's happening here?
What table?
Why
the pin down?
Yeah, go up to the table of the drilled diffs.
I don't know which one.
Yeah, yeah. Go to slide 3.
3. Got it.
Right. Yeah, right there. Actually, can you go down the slide? It's bigger on slide 8 or so.
Okay. All right,
Putting in the last numbers. Everyone can see. Yeah. Okay. There's that one. Can you drill? Let's see. 7. Yeah. This is actually a little interesting. This is making me think here.
Uh-oh.
All right. So can you put 2 comments up? Is that possible? I don't know what the capabilities are.
Yeah, you got it underneath it. Snapshot is underneath it.
Yeah, I just posted a snapshot.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So go through this one first. No drill, undrilled.
Yeah. So yeah, the no doubt is 045, and it actually went up 006 for intermediate, which is about. Actually, no, wait,
That's really low.
Yeah, I was, well, okay. So first of all, it's going to go up.
A little bit because you're putting a thumb hole in.
Right. It's not going to go down like for the asymmetric course. But then I'm looking at the total diffs. The total diff actually goes down more. It goes down 10 for the torpedo and hitter, but it goes only down 2 for the no doubt.
All right, let's look at the snapshot now with the protrusions. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that
That's
one goes
the
down.
same layout.
Same layout. Yeah, I just didn't want to take the time to.
So what happens now? My question was on that snapshot, undrilled. We got those numbers drilled with that same layout, the 40 by 4 1/4 by 75. Now, what happens if you put a big extra hole 6 3/4 from the pin on that 40-degree line? What happens to the numbers? Because that was my initial.
Right, that's what we used to do.
No, I know. This is the hypothetic of.
Yeah, but can you scroll up 2 slides?
Yeah.
So there's that layout.
Right. So the question is,
back in the day, we did the pin down, hole down. I wanted to see how much of a difference it actually made. Say with that snapshot, if you added an extra hole, whatever size, 1 inch by 3 inch deep, however you want to do it, just to see if like it was just a thing in our minds that, oh, hey, we got to have that hole down because it makes it do this, that. We just see it better. And now we don't even recommend the layout because look at the numbers. What happens? You drop 11 points, intermediate barely goes up. You basically take.
Yeah, but isn't that good? Isn't that a good ball for a low speed, low rep player?
It can be, sure.
A pin down symmetrical.
It can be. We just don't show it in our videos.
No, I know we don't. I know
we don't recommend it.
Right, because Mo used to make the comment, if you drill pin down, bring your spare ball. But I don't know if that applies nowadays.
Yeah. I think for some players, I think the higher rev players can use it more than they can the players that are speed dominant.
Exactly. But isn't that the same scenario when we take an asymmetrical ball and tell them to drill a pin down? Aren't we accomplishing the same thing?
Kind of, yeah. But if you want to have a symmetrical ball that maybe doesn't have as strong a cover, because more often than not, the ASIMs have pretty strong covers, the cohesion stuff and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what if you want to, like, say, like the snapshot?
Right.
You want something that's got HK22 cohesion, but what happens. We see what happens when you do this layout without the extra hole. Now, back in the day, if the snapshot came out prior to the ban and you put that extra hole in, what is it actually doing? Because that has that protrusion.
Right.
It's not shown because this is the power hitter core.
All right.
I actually drilled through that knob.
All right. So you're saying, and I'm working here, so I might have trouble talking, but you're saying if you put a 3-inch by 1 1/4-inch balance hole in the PSA, 6 3/4,
right,
on the PSA is what you're asking, right?
Yeah, or just inch. I think 1 1/4. But that's the max size you can go. 1 1/4.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll have that for you in 30 seconds.
There we go.
See that?
So I just want to see the maximum effect. You can't even cook popcorn in the microwave.
Are them instant grits?
No self-respecting Southerner would ever make instant grits.
So I'm going to do that test. I'm going to do it Thursday. How's that? I have 2 no doubt solids.
You gonna do that?
I might drill 1 pin up, 1 pin down.
Okay.
I don't know how high up should I drill the pin up, and how far down should I drill the pin down.
Yeah, people are asking about the Woo box. If it's still open, the answer is no. Entry's
You
closed
missed
at
the
the
Woo
top
box.
of the hour.
Yeah.
Everybody just joining in to try to get in for the giveaway. Sorry, I already actually picked the winner. Well, we haven't announced it yet.
Steve, if I drilled the no doubt pin up and pin down, what drilling should I use for the pin up?
Hold on 1 second.
All right.
The one that's on the sheet, Phil.
Well, there's 2 of them. There's max flip. I don't know if that's too strong for me to use anyway.
Normally,
probably.
I like to take guesses right now what these diffs. What do you think these diffs go up to?
I would tell you that I think the total diff goes to 035 to no, the total diff goes to 055, and the intermediate diff goes to 015.
I think it goes 060 and 015. Oh, bam.
21 and 55. Wow. I was close with the 55.
That's the biggest diameter balance hole.
Yeah.
Which is what we always used because, we had to make it as large as possible.
Yeah.
Which I liked his mentality about that because, it's why we use I always use this. I use 2 layouts when I'm studying mass, and it's the 70 by layout. And here lately I use the 50 by 5 by 40 because there's a lot of the testers that use that layout.
Right.
I just want to say your profile picture for YouTube doesn't look anything like you.
No, it's old and it's horrible.
Was that your college? Was that your college photo? What is that?
That was a long time ago, and like
the one that's in the post office.
That looks like a mugshot for actually when you're stealing copper wire from some junkyard.
A lot of that goes on around here.
I bet.
now they're onto the catalytic converters, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to do that test. I'm going to do it Thursday. I'm going to drill 2 no doubt solids. I'm going to drill 1 pin up, 1 pin down.
Okay.
I'm going to see if there's any truth to the fact that I should bring my spare ball.
Well, you got to throw. For science, you got to throw 8 games with each to see. You got to get a big enough data set.
I can't throw 8 games. I can't throw them the same day.
But wait, which ball do you like for your style? Don't you think this 40 by 4 1/4 is going to hook more?
Absolutely. It's going to hook way too much for me. Oh, no, I don't know. It will. I think it'll hook more.
So your spare ball, you're saying might be the other.
No. What I'm saying is I'm going to drill 2 no doubt solids, pin up and a pin down.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to see the difference in the motion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for my style, the pin down ball is going to be stronger down lane.
I'm going to find that number.
You got to make sure you share the results with me.
I just don't know what pin up drilling I should use.
Well, he's giving you the blueprint right here. If you go pin down, your numbers are going to be roughly what they are undrilled. not much change in the intermediate and just a few points down on the total. But if you go pin up with, like a max flip, you know what the numbers are going to be there. It's going to hop up.
Yeah. So I got to go 40 by 4 1/4 by 75 on the one ball.
Yep.
And then on the other ball, I'm going to drill it. Should I drill it, keep the pin the same distance at 4 1/4?
Yeah, do that. Just change the VAL angle.
So let's pick one. What is it? What do you want me to use?
30.
30?
Or 25, whatever. I don't care. Whatever you want.
Give me the numbers.
Pick one. 30.
So what am I drilling?
44 1/4, 75, 44 1/4, 30.
44 1/4, 75, 4 1/4, 30. Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
All right. Done with that guy.
And then I will share that result next week.
Okay.
Ish. Yeah, good.
Great.
All right. We have any more questions, or are we going to pick a winner? You have a winner picked already, don't you?
We do. It's getting to be that time.
All right.
What do we say? No whammies. That's what we say.
Oh, let me get my clock out.
Yeah, get your clock out.
I got my clock out.
Is everybody ready?
Yeah, who's the winner? Who's the winner?
You got your clock out?
I got my clock out.
All right. Winner this week. Robert.
Why do you pick names we can't pronounce?
Because everybody that watches.
If you can't pronounce it, when you pick a name, you go, I can't say that. The guy doesn't know he got picked. Pick another name.
That's not how it works.
No, that is how it works. That's how the real world works. I can't say that name.
Look, we run a very technical show, so people that watch us are very technical, even their names, okay?
The guy needs to buy a vowel.
Well,
he's here.
Didn't.
Bob,
he's there.
I didn't even start the clock.
Quick.
See? And he's on time. We didn't even have to have a clock.
Pick names you could say.
I don't know. But the name was Robert. Just kidding.
Get that right.
No one goes by Bob.
Bob.
All right. You know how it works, Bob.
Here we go. Here's the spin. Everybody in the chat is rooting against you. I want to tell you that right now. How many people are in the chat right now?
305.
305 people think they have a chance to win if you don't.
Now, Bob, if we spin this and we get a whammy, which everybody in the chat's going to be rooting for right now.
That's it. You get nothing.
You get nothing. So everybody's rooting for the whammy, and then we're going to pick another name if that happens. But I hope you get a 3-ball arsenal because it makes Phil groan. There he goes. And here we go. Bob, best of luck. That's a big spin.
Big spin from Nick. It's going deep. It's way. Back. And there it goes.
Here comes the whammy. Here comes the whammy.
Here comes the whammy.
Oh, Bob.
2 out of 3 weeks.
Sorry, Bob. It's time for me to
Bob,
go pick
if you had
one.
a different name, you'd have got picked differently. That's how it works, Bob. Sorry.
All right. Give me a second.
Let's pick another name. Pick one you can say.
I'm going to pick whatever one comes up next.
Jimmy Johnson from wherever. Jimmy, you're a winner.
Nope, not going to be able to pronounce this one either. So we're just going to go with it.
God,
please.
here we go. Sorry, Bob. Nick loves making people's lives miserable. That's why he suggested putting that whammy on the board. He wanted to make it bigger. I had to talk him into keeping it the same size.
Well, Phil wanted to end the show as soon as somebody had a whammy. Nobody gets anything at that point.
That's right. I want everybody to be punished.
All
right, who you got?
Wheels back.
Clock.
Hold on.
Ready.
Ready?
Ready. What do you got? That's the same guy. You picked his name twice?
There we go. David Nazamek. David Nazamek.
I started the clock.
David Nazamek.
David Nazamek.
Nas gonna win much. No.
Nazamek.
Nas Almanac.
David, how do you say your name?
He's gonna say winner. That's how he says our name.
That's it. All right, Dave, you got 60 seconds. Then we're going to pick another name we can't pronounce. David is a man in that.
David.
David, you have exactly 40 seconds.
Well, we got someone
50
that has their same last name. He says, but it's Ronald. Your name's not Ronald. It's David in the thing. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a chance to verify the number that's in your email. What's the number in your email there, Ronald?
Ronald-ish.
He said it's him. So what's the number?
How many people in the chat have that name?
I mean, Ronald versus the name we drew,
Well,
David.
whoever it is, the time is up.
What's the number in your email there, Ronald? We'll verify. That's our two-factor authentication.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So
Or we can
that's
call
what we
your
got.
house. He said
Yeah,
here.
He's got it.
Got it.
He's got it
All
right.
right.
All right, it's him.
All right,
Lucky
there
guess.
you go. Here we go, Whammy.
All right, you know what happens.
You know the rules.
We're going to spin it again. And now
It's
everybody's going to be rooting once
And
again.
303 people rooting against you.
299. They still stick around because they might get picked
Oh, yeah,
next.
they might get picked. 299.
Big bucks, big bucks. Come on,
Here we
three-ball
go.
arsenal.
Whammy.
Here comes the three-ball arsenal. Here it is.
Oh, went right by it.
Grip sack.
Well, you know what happens now,
Ronald,
Ronald.
do you want to
David.
keep the grip sack,
Or
do you want to spin again with a chance for a whammy? But you could also win something big. Let us know what you want to do.
And if you get another grip sack, we'll give you another spin.
That's true. If you get the double grip sack, we'll give you a third spin.
That's right.
I mean, the whammy might influence someone's decision to keep a grip sack one of these times. You know that, right?
I don't think so. I think they're going. I think he's going for another spin because
Yeah,
he thinks at the end of that rainbow, it's a pot of gold. I'm going for the spin.
He says spin again.
And
Okay.
again, I'm going for the big ball.
Here we go.
All right.
Remember, if it runs on grip sack, no whammies. Comes
No
around the
whammy
corner,
for
around the
you.
spread.
Here it comes. Round and round we go. Where she
Come on.
stops, nobody
Three-ball
knows.
arsenal. Three-ball arsenal.
Come on.
Clear magic.
Magic. Clear magic. The plant-based ball cleaner brought to you by Hammer. Clear magic.
We love it. All right.
You gotta love clear magic, Ronald. Dave Ronald.
All
All right, Nick will reach out to you.
I will.
And we'll see you guys next week, I think. Are we done? Steve? I think we're done.
Yeah, we're good. That was a
thanks
good
for having
show.
We'll look
Ran a
at some
little late.
questions.
It's all right.
Yeah, we'll look at some questions and we'll see if there's anything we can answer. In the meantime, I'm going to do my my own scientific experiment.
Science. Awesome.
Science is fun, kids.
Still haven't made that shirt, by the way.
No, you're not, because no. Anyway, and then Nick is going to reveal his arsenal next week for Nationals.
Yeah, I'm gonna film
You
that.
have to.
I'm gonna film that soon because I got to get it going. And
It'll be shipped.
yeah,
Wait a little longer to ship it. Maybe it'll get lost. You'll show up at the drill ball there.
that's fine.
What do you think you'll drill?
Purple. Two
Up
of
the
them.
twig?
As long as he's got a purple, I'll drill a 16 and a 15 just so I have
Yeah, the
options.
extra flare option, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
We're out of here.
Steve,
Good show,
Thank you,
Steve.
Steve.
Thank you
Yeah,
again.
thanks for having me again.
Always great stuff.
All right. We'll
And,
see you everyone next week. I don't know what
That's
we'll
right.
talk about, but we'll figure it out. How
Yeah, we'll have
how we do
something
it?
next week. Yep, that's how we do it. On Wednesday morning, we figure out what we're going to talk about.
Tuesday, usually. Steve, thanks for all the good
Hey, thanks,
information
buddy.
and for
Yeah.
dialing up all that other information on the fly because
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
very
pretty cool.
interesting.
Only with us can you get that information when Steve's around.
And not
He's got it.
only
He just
now we got that information. Now I'm destined to get that rule overturned now on the balance holes. That's gonna be our next. That's gonna be our next thing.
Good luck.
Nick will get arrested at being CNN because he's outside of Arlington.
I'm gonna go pick it. Yeah, I'm gonna go pick
You
it.
lost
but
it. That's
I'm
right.
gonna go peacefully assemble
Yeah.
and
peacefully assembled.
petition the government for a regress of action.
Did you ever get that license plate I told you about? Chicken.
This is how he talks to me sometimes, Steve.
Do you
Did you ever
remember
get that license plate?
Yeah.
What?
What do you know what he's talking about?
No,
Yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
No idea.
What vanity plate did I tell you to get for your Tesla?
No idea.
Yeah, you do. You won't say it.
D-Fresh has got the comment right there.
I know what it is.
Yeah, he does. He won't say it.
I already ordered a new one.
What'd you order this time?
I'm not saying it. Why am I going to give out my license plate on the air? Come on, stop. Use your head.
Oh, so when I go there, I'll take a picture of it and post it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, doxing is nice. Yeah, and let's just do that.
Okay. We got to go. Thank you, everybody. We had fun.
Yes, we did. Take care. Thank you guys all.
All right, Steve. Thanks again, buddy.
All right, yeah.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.